Hi guys, Jenny with On Fire Fit, and today is my Use It or Lose It Project Pan Mindfulness Year No Buy Year update. So I know that some of you have followed along since the beginning of the year as I use what I have and try to avoid buying more things in certain categories because I already have enough. And I also know that until I use what I already have, it's just going to clog up the system by having more stuff than what I need. And I find that I'm much more mindful of using things when I have a plan. And so I have diligently been working through my plan. I have to say that I am tempted at times to buy things that I think, oh, it's such a good deal, but I'm really trying to hold off knowing that there are always good deals out there. And if I have enough of something in that category, that it can wait. It can wait. It can wait. So I am going to start off with the products that I have used up over this last, probably more like 4 to 6 weeks. So I had received from Santa in my stocking one year this mist. What do we call this? Soothing antioxidant mist. It has green tea, witch hazel, vitamin C, sea salt, chamomile, and it's from the dermatologist that I've gone to in the past, but it was something that Santa knew that I might need. And it was good. I really liked it. In the beginning, it sprays on your face. It was a shocker. Boom, 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 every time. And so I realized I wasn't using it because my brain told me you're going to get a shock. And isn't that funny? It's so not bothersome, really, but it's just because it was something I wasn't used to. Now, after spraying this on my face twice a day, every day, it doesn't faze me at all. So I finally used it up and I did like it. It was a good one. So I would say it's kind of like a toner. So that's what I used. Well, funny story with this one. This is a spray gel. And apparently, so I've got a lot of different hair products, and I had this one in the cabinet, and I was always using different, I don't really use spray hair gel. We had bought this for my daughter during her days with, well, she still dances, but during dance time, and when she would have to do her hair in like tight buns and stuff as a way to get the little flyaways. And so we had used this for her for a long time, but I've had this for so long. I thought I just need to use this stuff up because we're not really using it anymore. Well, finally used it up. I go to put it in my little box of used up stuff for when I make my video. And my daughter looks at this and she says, why is that in there? And I said, well, I used it up because I'm trying to use up all the stuff in the cabinet. And she goes, Mom, that didn't have a spray gel in there. It was like a combination of water and lemon, and you spray it in your hair so it will lighten it when you go out in the sun. And I'm like, no wonder every time I sprayed this on my hair, it did not work for flyaways. It just made my hair damp. You would think I would have gotten a clue, but no, I just kept using. So anyway, it's empty. And my hair is not lighter from this. I got my hair done today. Okay, so next up, Bye Bye Breakout. And this is a full coverage treatment concealer by It Cosmetics. Not the cheapest thing in the world, but a very good concealer. I would definitely buy that again. I do like this brand, and that has been a good one. And here is one of my Project Pan. So if you remember, pan means that you have hit the, what do you call this, silver little pan of the makeup. And that really what they look for in Project Pan is having your powder wear down so you see even just a little fleck of the silver Well, I consider Project Pan every square inch to be gone. What ends up happening for me though is I end up with a few little chunks and I keep pushing them around with my brush, and then finally they just kind of fall apart and I can't get them to work anymore. So I've had that one for a while too, but I used up Laura, it's probably backwards for you guys. Laura, how do we say that? Mercier. That was a pretty color. That was called Orange Blossom, and I did like that. I am not wearing it today though. Okay, this was a Christmas present from my sweet 17-year-old daughter, but back when she was 16, because it's an eyeliner, and she knows that my eyeliner is very smudgy. I can't make this work anymore because it's kind of falling apart. This was probably this long. This lasted me almost a year and a half, and I forget the brand name of this. I can find out for you. I think it's Jeffree Star or something like that. She is Talia, my daughter, is definitely a smart one when it comes to cosmetics. She's watched a lot of videos and things, and she was right. This was a perfect eyeliner for me, and I would definitely buy it again. This is a lash serum that you basically paint on to your eyelash line, and it makes your eyelashes grow longer. And I finally used it up. I think I had 2 going at one time, and so I finally got through this one, and I got it from my eye doctor, so you know that means that it's not going to be bad for your eyes, because I bought it when I was at my eye doctor, and I loved it, and it totally worked. It's called Volumen, Vlumine lash serum, and it worked. My eyelashes did get longer. The next 2 things are my own essential oil blends that I put together. So I had bought these little bottles on Amazon at one point, and then I put my own oil. Usually I used like a jojoba oil, sometimes a little coconut oil, vitamin E. It's a little combination. This was the immune blend, and so it's a little dropper, and I would take a dropper full. And for me, the oil was too heavy for my face, but I would rub it here, and then you can smell it and breathe it. And I have been using that really regularly, and it smells really good anyways, but good for your immune system. This is another one, same kind of bottle situation, and I labeled it Happy Jaw. It's got stuff in it supposed to relax and anti-inflammatory, and so I used that one up. Next up are the books that I read over the course of this last 4 to 6 weeks. A friend of mine recommended the book Angel Armies by Tim Sheets, and this book was really interesting. It gave a lot of insight into angels in the Bible. You forget how many things or stories, situations, people have been affected by angels. It just really woke me back up again to the idea that angels are around us all the time. And of course, we don't pray to angels. We don't seek them out for our to intercess or anything. We go to God, but angels are there to guard us, lead us, protect us, to do God's will. And it's so comforting to know and remember that God has those angels around. And if you have a story about how an angel has intervened in your life, I would love to hear about it. I feel like my main one that pops into my head was, I remember I was driving on the freeway and I had my baby in the back seat. And suddenly off of a truck, it was kind of a truck that was up ahead of me, but a little to the side, their ladder flew off, and it was coming straight at my windshield like this, and then it went like that. It made no sense. I'm like, how could it not have hit me? And it just like that. And it was like in that instant when it was coming, I almost didn't have a chance for a prayer, but it's like the first thought is like, God. And it was boom, it was gone. You may have a story. I love to hear angel stories. So that was a good book. Another book that I read, this one was actually pretty long. I don't know if you read books, but this one was 314 odd pages. Okay, I'm going to tell you about this one because I think it's so cool how God works. This is called Rebel with a Cause, and it's called Finally Comfortable Being Graham, and it's an autobiography of Franklin Graham. So Billy Graham, this is his son. So Billy Graham passed away recently, and this is his son Franklin. And Franklin was one of, I think it was 4 kids, but he was kind of the more rebellious one. And so obviously rebel with a cause. He came to a point in his life where he decided to really become a follower of Jesus. He had been sort of a Christian by default because if you're a child of Billy Graham, how can you not be a Christian, right? But he chose to accept Jesus and his purpose in life. The cool thing about this book, okay, I don't want to make the story way too long, but I just think it's cool how I ended up with this book. So when my children were really tiny at our church and school, the school where they go, there was always the Operation Christmas Child where you would make a shoebox of toys and little goodies and toiletries that you would give to the school in this Christmas shoebox, and then it was sent to children in other countries that didn't have things, and didn't have what we have. So we would make these little shoeboxes. Well, you had to fill out these forms that said, because you would help pay for the shipping, you had to fill out a form that basically said where you're located and your name and address and stuff. Well, one of the years, I guess I thought that they were looking for it said school name. So I had put our name, and then I had put our school name and our home address. Well, every single year for probably 15 years, I would get mailings from a company called Samaritan's Purse, or it's a charity, I should call it. And they're the ones that have this Operation Christmas Child. So Samaritan's Purse, this charity, would send me in the mail 2 identical outreach efforts for funding, right? So I'm getting 2 of these all the time. One's addressed to our school and one's addressed to me. And I'm like, they're wasting money on all this extra mailing for so long and paper product, and I don't need 2 of these things. So I finally thought, stop complaining about wasting paper and just go tell them that you don't need that mailing anymore. So I wrote them and just said, I don't need you to send me this anymore. And it's not that I was trying to disconnect from their ministry. I just didn't need duplicates. So time goes by, and I get this package, a yellow envelope in the mail, and this book is in there. And the letter, which I think I left it somewhere else. The letter isn't here. There's a letter from Franklin Graham. Of course, it's a mass copy, but it's basically saying, I apologize for you requesting to come off of our mailing list, that you may have still been receiving more mailings. And that wasn't our intention, but just letting you know that we didn't intend for you to get all those mailings that you did not want. And so just basically saying his apologies. And then I just thought you might be interested in reading the book. Oh my word. This was such a blessing to me. And I thought, I don't know if I would necessarily have thought to go read this book, but partly because I'm on a mission to read the books that I have before I go buy other books, and partly because I was like, I'm really impressed by the way Samaritan's Purse handled that whole situation rather than being offended, ignoring, if I got nothing in the mail, I wouldn't have even thought anything of it. If I didn't even receive a letter from them, I wouldn't have thought anything of it. But the fact that they followed through with a letter and even his book, and now I understand Samaritan's Purse, and now I'm going to start donating to them again because I'm like, they're doing amazing things. And he has such a great heart. So, what an awesome opportunity that they used to bless someone and to let someone, me, know about a beautiful opportunity to spread God's word and love. And I just think it was fantastic. So I don't care if it's a marketing technique, it's an effective one and it's a good one. And he's doing God's work. So I am all for that. Love it. And it was a great book. So if anybody local wants to borrow it, because I don't know if you can buy that in the store, or I guess you could probably order it online, but you're welcome to borrow it. My Bible study that I did, so our Lifeway bookstore, which is a Christian bookstore, was going out of business. Well, not going out of business. They were shutting down their local store. They still are online, and I think they still have they still have some stores open, but whatever. They were going out of the location that was near my house, and so they were selling everything for like 50 or 60% off. So I had bought so many Bible devotionals, and so that's why you keep seeing so many of these devotionals coming through on these videos, is because I've just been working through the ones that I bought at a very good reduced price, by the way. And this one is James. Is everything backwards? James, and it's called Mercy Triumphs. Is by Beth Moore, and it's a devotion where you write in it, and she leads you through the Bible. It was excellent. I've always loved the book of James anyway because it's super practical, and he's kind of no nonsense. Like, don't do this, do this, and he's very straightforward. Like, faith without works is dead, and it's like, oh, well, goodness, I thought we were supposed to just live by faith and grace. And it's like, no, if you're not doing anything, then that's showing that your faith really isn't that strong, if it's even there at all. And I think that it's just cool. I'm probably saying this in such a way that sounds super offensive, so I don't mean it that way, but I love the book of James because he's just very forthright. And this was a great study. I love Beth Moore anyway. So that was amazing. Wonderful. As far as food products, I don't know if I really used anything up. I've kind of gone through things that I mostly don't have a lot of backlog of things currently. I kind of used up stuff. I'll have to see if there's anything still that I have that might be on the close end of expiration, but I kind of have gone through most of that, so that's pretty cool. So that is the update for this month. I hope that you are still working through your stash of things, considering how to be more mindful and not wasteful, not buying things you don't need. Make it a kind of a fun chance to use what you have and avoid spending extra money. It's very fun sometimes to spend money, but then if you don't have a plan for using the things that you're buying, it's kind of an empty thing. So I think it's more fun to use what I have and see how I can get creative and how I can go about making use of the things that I've already got. So anyway, I think that that's awesome. Oh, I also wanted to thank my friend Nikki, who added to my stash in the most perfect way of all, my Smashbox. Look at this beautiful palette. So I did not have any more bronzer anyway, so I get to use this for my project pan. And so I've added this to my thing, but she gave it to me, and it's beautiful. I love it. So thank you, Nikki. And anyway, I hope that you are having some fun with using things you've got going on at your house, all your products or things that you have, and just being mindful, because I think that being mindful is one of the best ways to use the gifts that God has given us. So thanks so much for being with me. And until we meet again for Use It or Lose It, Mindfulness, No Buy, project pan year. I hope that you live your life on fire.